Hey guys, welcome once again. My name is Mayuresh and welcome to the Career Fitness YouTube series. This is for interview prep for mid-career professionals, for people who have experience between 6 to 14 years of bracket. What we do in this particular segment is take a question every single day and try and answer it, or help the other person structure their response if they are posed such a question. So let's see what's the question for the day. The question for the day is, what was your favorite job and why? Now it's very interesting to note, why is this getting asked? Say if you've been working for 10 years, 12 years, 14 years, most likely you have anywhere between 1 to 7, 8 stints on your resume. One being the extreme left and the extreme left being 7 to 8 stints. If you have been at the same job for a very long time, then people want to understand what role have you enjoyed the most. Or if you have hopped along too much, then people want to understand what is it that was really interesting to you, and they want to draw parallels whether what you have and what you enjoyed the most essentially offers some sort of a similarity or common ground, whether the person can thrive for a longer period of time. Great. So let's look at how do we even start thinking about answering this. So we looked at why this particular question is asked, specifically with respect to either the stability concerns or people wanting to understand what your true motivations or likes, dislikes are. The thing to do or thing to not do over here is to quote a designation and organization. So possibly that's the crisp answer to this particular question, but that's not the best way to answer this particular question. That's not the best way to put your foot forward over here. What you may want to do over here is that you want to understand what role you are interviewing for. If you have always done product or growth or marketing or design or UX, or you've done something that is in this particular spectrum, you've done something in the spectrum which is not like very boxed out compartmentalized role, but if it involves a spectrum, then you may want to have your answer slightly nuanced over here. So have your experience inventory very, very clearly handy. So even before you start attempting any of these interview questions, you need to go through a preparation and put together your own personal guide with respect to how you want to attempt interviews. And in that, you want to clearly identify nuggets, specimens, pieces, parts of your job, of your role, of your stint, of your progression, where you had the good time and the bad time. So you need to have your experience inventory handy. And once it is handy, you need to just cherry pick from there and be able to position in for this particular question. So rather than saying this is your favorite and the most favorite, you ideally need to have a short list. So if this question is asked to you, don't say this is my favorite part with respect to this role and why, and you explain all those things. You essentially put together maybe 2 or 3 instances. These are the 3 stints, roles, projects, initiatives, what you thoroughly enjoyed and why. You enjoyed because it was bootstrapping something, you enjoyed because it was scaling something, you enjoyed it because it made you feel happy for whatever reason. Just make sure you bring it out very, very, very clearly. So that's the good parts. You want to bring in the good parts from your experience inventory and position it in this particular answer. Just make sure whatever you bring out over here, you've done it for a certain interval of time. And that certain interval can be 3 months, can be 6 months, can be 12 months, it depends. But just make sure that you have gone in depth. It is not something that you tried accidentally and you ended up liking it. You did it because you're chosen for it. You raised your hands for it because you showed initiative, and you went deep. So deep work is something that you want to bring out over here, and you really enjoyed it. That's the part. And just make sure that it has to be relevant to the question. It has to be relevant to the job role on offer and for which you are interviewing. Be careful to draw a line between the past and the now. So again, there are roles, jobs, profiles, especially if you're interviewing vertically, if you're interviewing for a role that requires you to not shift laterally but to shift vertically. You're going to get elevation with respect to compensation, with band grade. In those things, you want to make sure that you are also carefully distancing the aspects of the role that you uh, liked, that you didn't like, but at the same point in time, which are critical for you to acknowledge, recognize, and encourage in people who will report into you. So you understand the nuances, but you have moved on from it. You understand the nitty gritties, you understand the tactical way of doing things, but you have essentially evolved to a stage that you can now be at the next level. So that's the point over here. You don't want to be come across as someone who is deeply in love with what they were doing and you're not willing to let go of it, or you're just too deeply, or you want to do it again. You've done it, great. I am looking for new things, and that's the sentiment that you want to send out over here. Awesome, great. I hope this helps you answer this question: what's your favorite job and why? Thank you so much for being with me in this particular career fitness series. My name is Mayuresh. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment over here, and I'll make sure that I take your question in the next episode or one of the episodes very soon. Thank you so much and have a good day.